Hi everyone, today's our topic is agents of pollination, and in previous class we discussed about kinds of pollination. Here in this topic we will discuss about what are the agents are involving in pollination. So here see, the agents which are involved in the pollination are called as pollinating agents. What are they means? There are two types of pollinating agents. One is abiotic agents and another one is biotic agents. Abiotic agents examples are water and wind, and biotic agents means different types of animals are present. What are their means? Some are insects. If you see some insects like butterfly and honeybees and birds, primates, etc. are called as biotic agents. And another one is most important point is majority of plants use biotic agents only. That means majority of plants utilizes biotic agents for pollination. And what about abiotic agents? Only small proportion, very small, only small proportion of plants use abiotic agents. And now we will start with the wind. So first we will discuss with the wind. So here see, pollination by wind. First pollination we will discuss with the wind. Pollination by wind. If the wind pollination always requires that the pollen grains are lightweight and non-sticky, so they can transported through wind from one place to another place. That means compulsory the pollen grain should be in lightweight and non-sticky, then only the pollen grain can transfer from one place to another place through wind. And another one is another interesting point is those which plants shows wind pollination. The wind pollinated flowers often have a single nuclei, single ovule in each ovary. The wind pollinated flowers often have a single ovule in each ovary and numerous flowers packed into an inflorescence. Inflorescence means, what is the meaning of inflorescence? The group of flowers combines with each other in a stalk is called as inflorescence. Example for inflorescence is corn cob. We can take corn cob. Per example, if you see, I will show you the corn cob, then you can understand very easily. What we were discussing means how actually we know that this corn cob is a monocot. And another one is, another interesting point is all monocots or all grass families shows wind pollination only. So here see, if you observe this corn cob, they having tassels. These are called as tassels. So if you observe these tassels, these are nothing but stigma and style. That means the tip of this tassel, stigma is located, stigma is present, and below the stigma this tube-like structure is nothing but style. Why these are this much long? Means these tassels wave in the wind to trap the pollen grains during pollination. So that is the importance of these tassels. These tassels are very, very important for pollination, which can be seen in corn cob. The second type of pollination is pollination by water. So through water, how the pollination happen, we will discuss now. So actually water pollination is quite rare in flowering plants and is limited. So you have to remember this point. And another one is, we knew that water act like a medium for the transportation of male gametes in lower plants like algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. In these three types of plants, the water act like a medium for transportation of male gametes from one plant to another plant. That is the role of water in this type of plants. Let us see now how many types of pollinated plants are there. In water means there are two types of water plants are there, or aquatic plants are there. Two types of aquatic plants are there. What are they means? First one is floating plants. Floating plants, and another one is submerged plants. These two types of aquatic plants are present, which shows water pollination. So floating plants means, what are they means? Here if you see example for floating plants are water hyacinth, and the next one is water lily. Next one, submerged plants again classified into two types. For freshwater submerged plants and marine water submerged plants. So freshwater submerged plants, which one we can take means, here Vallisneria is one of the example for freshwater submerged plant, Vallisneria. And another one is Hydrilla. And here for what is the example for marine water submerged plant means, we can take green grass. I will show you the picture. Green grass or Zostera. So marine water submerged plant is green grass or Zostera. This type of plants shows water pollination. And if you see the floating plants like water hyacinth and water lily, how the pollination happens means, if you see the water hyacinth and water lily, these two plants always floats on the surface of the water. If you see the water lily, the leaves will be on the surface of the water and the stem will be down under the water, and the flowers will be on the surface of the water. That's why here in water hyacinth and water lily, in both insect pollination or air pollination will takes place. So insect pollination or air pollination will be. There is no chances for water pollination. So here both the water hyacinth and water lily, they have more chances for insect pollination or air wind pollination. And if you see the Vallisneria, I will show you the picture. So if you observe the Vallisneria, this is the picture of Vallisneria. So in this Vallisneria, the female flower, this is the female flower. This female flower reached to the surface of water. This is the water surface, and this female flower reached to the surface of water and by the long stalk. It has a long stalk. You can see this long stalk. With the help of this long stalk, this female flower reached to the surface of water for pollination. In this situation, the male flower's pollen grains, they also always, the male flower releases the pollen grains. These pollen grains, they will float on the surface of water. Finally they will reach to the female flower, and finally they will reach to the stigma of a female flower. So this type of pollination we can see in Vallisneria. Here also the water act like a medium between pollen grains and flower. And another one is seagrass. How the seagrass shows water pollination means, yes, this is a seagrass. The name of the seagrass is Joystera. Already we discussed about this plant. So Joystera is a seagrass's name, and what you are seeing, this is a seagrass. It is a marine aquatic plant, and if you see this one, this is a female flower, and this plant is a submerged plant. You can see in the sea water, it is a submerged plant, and the flower is present under the sea water. How this flower shows pollination means, with the help of pollen grains. These are pollen grains. If you see the pollen grains of the seagrass, these pollen grains are long. They are very long and ribbon like structures, and they are carried passively inside the water. So they will enter into the water and fuses with the stigma of these female flowers, and they will show, finally they will show water pollination. And another one is, if you see, this is one of the type of water pollination which can be seen in seagrass. And another one is all aquatic plants, pollen grains, all aquatic plants pollen grains are protected from, if this is a pollen grain means, if this is pollen grain means, this aquatic pollen grains are protected from wetting situation by who will protect this pollen grain from wetting conditions means, there is a coat present outside of the pollen grain that is called as mucilaginous covering. Mucilaginous covering. This covering always protects the aquatic pollen grains. All aquatic pollen grains are protected by a cover, a sheath which protects the pollen grains from wetting conditions. The name of that covering is mucilaginous covering. This is very important covering for all pollen grains of the aquatic plants. The another topic is pollination by biotic agents like animals. So here, see carefully, majority of flowering plants use a range of animals as a pollinating agents. Already we discussed this point. Examples are bees, butterflies, flies, wasps, beetles, moths, birds. Example for a bird is hummingbirds, bats, reptiles, primates like lemurs. These are all pollinating agents, common pollinating agents. And another thing is how the flower attracts these agents for insect pollination. Means every flower adapts its body based on the pollinating agent. Here see how they will attract the agents for pollination means the flowers are larger in shape and colorful for attraction, and fragrance, variety of scent smell they will release, and rich in nectar. They will produce nectar for attracting the insects. And another one is some flowers releases foul odor to attract flies and beetles. Yes, some pollinating flowers, they will release a foul odor or foul smell to attract the flies and beetles. And another one is important point, when pollinating agents visited the flowers have to provide rewards to the animal. Yes, when any pollinating agent visited the flower, the flowers also will give some rewards to that pollinating agent. What are they means? One is nectar and pollen grains. These two are rewards. These rewards are provided by that flower to that visitor during pollination. And another important point is some plants species floral rewards are in providing safe places to lay eggs. That means some plants, they will provide shelter to some visitors. That's why some plants provides the place for some animals, provides shelter to some animals. So here see what are their means. Example is a small relationship between a moth and the plant yucca. Here there is a moth and the yucca plant is here. These two are cooperating with each other. We can call it as a symbiosis. So here see these two species complete life cycle without each other. So, and another one is how they will cooperate with each other means the moth deposits eggs in the locule of ovary, in turn gets pollinated by the moth. Here if you see, this is a pistil, this is the ovarian region, this is a locule region. In this locule region this moth lays eggs. At the same time the moth also helps to this flower for pollination. It brings pollen grains and it drops that pollen grains on the stigma of the flower. That means from one direction the flower is providing shelter to this insect, and another side the moth is helping to this flower during pollination. So this type of cooperation we can see in these two species. What is that one? Moth and yucca plant. And finally, when the larva develops in the ovary, the larva of the moth come out of the eggs as the seeds start developing. So this is the total pollination, total information about pollination. So here what we understand means the animals are also very important for pollination. So here we discussed about pollination by water, pollination by wind, and pollination by animals. All the best.